Hey, welcome back to Bobb-z Callahan's Word of Advice. And for this video, I wanted to talk about what is probably one of the most important topics I could ever talk about for a video. And I know while I have said that before for several topics, which I've considered important, I would have to say out of any topic I would ever talk about, the topic of priorities is probably up there in the top 5 most important. And with that, let me just get right into this topic and just offer my advice on what to do when it comes to priorities. And of course, I believe that we should define what priorities mean. A priority can be defined as something which is more important than what you are currently doing, if you want to put it that way. And I do believe that we should know what our priorities are, because in this life, the unexpected is bound to happen. And it is bound to happen on a fairly regular basis. And there may be times when we are doing one event, but then all of a sudden an unexpected event happens, and we should probably go and attend to that other event because it has more importance than what we're doing. Let's take, for example, if I was hanging with my friends and we're having a good time, everything's cool, but then all of a sudden I get a phone call that either another friend or a family member has been hurt and they're in the hospital, and that leaves me with the choice of either still hanging with my friends or going to the hospital to see what my friend or family member is like at the time. If you were to ask me what I would do, I would believe the more important thing to do in that case is to go see the person in the hospital. You know, I believe there are times when we simply have to put down whatever we're doing, no matter how fun it is, and we need to be at a certain event, or we need to go to a certain situation, because just being there may be a huge help, and we can make a significant impact in that situation if we show up and temporarily leave behind whatever we are doing. Why I would stress the importance of priorities and why we should know them is because I believe that if we know what our priorities are, then when it comes time to deal with the unexpected, then it should be easier for us to understand what we should say goodbye to for a little bit, and we should know where we should be if we can be there. Because I do believe that if we don't know what our priorities are, then we could end up making a decision which we could regret for a long time. You know, like let's say, for example, that you're hanging with your friends, and using a different example of something which may be more important, let's say, for example, that you get a phone call from a friend, and they say to you, yeah, my car has been broken down and it's being towed and now I have no ride. Well, you could either keep hanging with your friends, or you could go and give that friend a ride to wherever they need to be now that they don't have a car. You know, I do believe that if we wouldn't know what our priorities are, though, then we may end up making a mistake. And if you were to say, in that situation, in that example I just used, if you were to just keep hanging with your friends and not help your friend out, well, you could possibly someday feel sad because you didn't help your friend out, and your friend may be upset because you may be one of the only available people to come and help your friend out. When it comes to dealing with the unexpected, and dealing with our priorities, it's not always easy. And we are bound to make a mistake at one point, because usually when the unexpected happens, we are put on the spot. And I think it's safe to say that everybody doesn't always make the best choice when we are put on the spot. But if we do know what our priorities are, and we take some time to really think about what is more important, and if we can show up to help somebody else out, and we can leave what we are doing, then I believe we should go and try to do it. And knowing our priorities beforehand is going to help us, because when we are put on the spot, then if we know what our priorities are, then at that point in time, we should be able to know what is more important, and we can go help the situation that is at hand when it happens unexpectedly. And with that, I certainly hope what I have talked about in this video will come in handy. I know this is a difficult topic, but I certainly hope everything I've talked about on the topic of priorities will come in handy for you. Come back for another word of advice video.